don't know if that's coming to me or going to the county. I haven't seen it yet if it's coming to me. Misdemeanors. There's, under the Criminal City Act, we can only do, locally, we can only do the 93 days and then high B.A.C. or WI. Everything else has to go to the county. 93 days and 93 days. Meaning the maximum punishment of the offense is up to 93 days. The only exception to that is high B.A.C. or WI. That's a 180.
I figured as much.
Carved out an exception for that because it's a first, still a first offense. Yeah, we do a lot of business on those in Albion.
All right, folks, since we do have a lengthy agenda, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. I will I'm losing words. Call this meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. If we could all start with a moment of silence, please. And if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will remind folks, if you have cell phones, to put them on silent, turn them off. Council members, make sure that they're off the countertops. City Clerk Domingo, if you take roll call first, please.
Councilmember Williams.
Present.
Jackson.
Here.
Waller.
Here.
French.
Here.
And Mayor Slater.
Here. So we're going to start off this evening with some presentations. So folks, oh, I'm so sorry. I have a motion to approve of our agenda.
So moved.
Support. Questions or comments or additions, deletions?
I have a correction. Item M, the person seeking approval of a closing of a street is backwards, first name Cortesia, second name Wilson, rather than Wilson Cortesia.
Thank you.
Is that a new one?
I think it's added.
Any other corrections? We have a motion and support. City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Waller.
Yes.
French.
Yes.
And Mayor Slater.
Yes. So we are starting off with a few presentations. If our presenters can kind of keep in mind that we would like to stay within 10 minutes so that, we can kind of get through everybody. We will start off with Chief Kemp, even though he's not listed on the agenda, but he does have a new officer to present.
So I think some of you probably already seen our Facebook page, Officer Chandler Barney. Chandler started with us on the 17th, which was the day after our last meeting. So he's been actually working, and we have to swear him in the day he starts. So he's already been sworn in. But I want to present him with his oath of office that Jill did back on the 17th. And then his mom and dad are here, and his dad is going to pin his badge on for him since we didn't have the opportunity to do this before. So
All right.
go ahead.
Good job.
Stand up and rock yours.
Don't break it.
Chandler grew up in Escanaba, Michigan. He went to school there through 11th grade, at which time he moved to Battle Creek and went to school at Lakeview High School, which is where he graduated from. He became a firefighter in Leroy Township and also in Springfield. He's still also a volunteer firefighter in Springfield. So he came here as a firefighter. We sent him to the police academy, and he graduated from the Lansing Police Academy in May. And as I said, he passed his exam and began with us on the 17th.
Fantastic, welcome.
Welcome to Albion. Welcome to Albion.
All of you guys, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Kemp. At this time, I'll call up Mary Slater and Vivian Davis. The floor is yours, ladies.
Good evening. I'm Vivian Davis, 901 Huntington Boulevard.
Mary Slater, 803 South Superior. And we're here tonight to talk about French Sister City. You know, since COVID, we've kind of been off the radar. Before COVID, Sister City had over 100 visitors every year back and forth between young people, college people, adults, formal delegations, delegations around art, around music, around sports. And then COVID came, and things kind of came to a halt. But we're getting back into gear again, and we are celebrating 25 years of relationship with Noisy-le-Roi and 15 with VIII. And so the first of these is an event that is the French Market, which Vivian is going to talk about in detail. But I want to point out that there are a couple of things that are going on to get the movement back going again. We currently have some children at Harrington Elementary that are involved in a pen pal project that are exchanging letters and pictures with the Centre de Loisirs, which is an after-school program in Noisy. And these kids, the kids from Harrington, are already saying, when can we go to France? So as you know, it's very expensive, so we're already starting to do fundraising for this project, and that will be what some of the funds from from French Market will be devoted to. I also want to announce something that is of interest to everybody. As part of the 25th celebration, there's going to be a photo contest. And there are 4 cities involved, Albion, Noisy, VIII, and the 4th city is in Spain. It's Godella, Spain, and that Noisy and VIII are related to them. We are not, but we learn about them, and they share with us. So the photo contest is involving pictures from each of these 4 towns. So from Albion, people can submit pictures. There's certain qualifications regarding the pixels and all that sort of thing. And that information will be available at the market. Any individual can submit up to 5 pictures. There will be a panel to select 25 from these. Then each city will be collecting 25 photos. Eventually, each city will have 100 photos to be displayed all over the city. Sister City has applied for a grant from the Community Foundation to print these photos. We haven't heard the results yet, but these are poster-size photos. And the opening exhibit for this will be October 8th. That will be our grand gala for the Sister City celebration. So,
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the French Market. And the French Market is in a conjunction with the Farmers Market, which is going to be on Wednesday from 4 to 7. So I just want you to look at this and see how delicious it looks. And this is what we're going to be displaying. This is what we're going to be making. I'll just put it right there so to make sure you see it. The French Market, we're going to have several tables with goodies and trinkets and things like that, novelty items, and you can begin your Christmas shopping. because we're going to have a lot of good things. The crepes are going to be made with Nutella, fresh lemon and fruit, and there are different types of crepes that you can eat to as much as your heart desires. There are going to be 3 baskets that are going to be raffled off. The tickets are only $2 per person. And you can buy as many tickets as you want. Oh, by the way, the crepes are $2 each also. And just remember, it's a fundraiser, so it's okay. It's okay. Live auction for a surprise basket, as well as framed pictures of French scenery, and that's going to be auctioned off as well. So this is the opportunity you can't miss. You eat well. You're going to have music for your entertainment, and don't worry about calories because you're kicking off the summer. So we would like for you to come and support the French market as well as the farmers market. It is going to be on Wednesday from 4 until 7.
Any questions for our presenters?
This is my creation, so I'm going to show it off. No, I'm collecting the money.
I have tickets for the gift baskets if anybody.
All right, our next presenter is Jacques Harris and Katherine Kemp. They want to come on up.
Yes, how are you?
Good.
We did send a presentation. I am the Marketing Director of Senior Care Partners P.A.C.E, and Jacques is the Marketing Coordinator. Senior Care Partners P.A.C.E came to this great city, I believe, June of 2020. And so part of my job is to take us from the best kept secret to the talk of the town. Jacques has some collateral, like goodie bags for you all as I walk you through the presentation. So basically, what I really want to talk about today is the aging principle, just exactly what does that mean? Defining P.A.C.E, just what is P.A.C.E, right? So I want to define what that is at the high level and then come down to the lower level as to what is Senior Care Partners P.A.C.E, talk about the benefits, the purpose, how to get involved, and what makes us different. So I'll start with life matters at every stage. So as we get older, not only does our body change, but our mindset and our priorities change. So when we're younger, we're thinking about, we're trying to have our best body and live our best life. But as we get older, the focus is really along the lines of, hey, I want to wake up with no aches. I want to make sure that I'm not a burden to anybody. As I get older, I want to minimize suffering, and I really want to be mentally aware. So this next slide really focuses on the necessary conversation. So the participant, or maybe some of you in the medical community know it as the patient, the caregiver or the support system, and the medical and aging community, they all are having the same conversations. So I won't go into detail with every single bullet point, but what you will see in red are the commonality. So one is the burden and the burnout. So from a burden perspective, the elderly person, they really don't want to be a burden to the community or to their family. The support, from a support system perspective, they're feeling like they are a burden or a part of the burnout. You know what I'm saying? So when you're a caregiver, you feel kind of guilty or bad that you don't always necessarily have the time or the energy to take care of your loved ones. And then that actually carries over into the aging community as well. And again, because we only have 10 minutes, I won't go through every single bullet. So this is why the P.A.C.E organizations are really essential. P.A.C.E stands for Programs of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. And although you may, or maybe some of the people here, maybe your first time hearing it, P.A.C.E has actually really been around since 1970. It was born out of California with the Asian community, and it has done so well that we are in 30 states, P.A.C.E overall. It's a very innovative, cost-effective, accessible way for care for the elderly. So, there's a P.A.C.E that's near you. Senior Care Partners P.A.C.E started in 2009. We have 4 locations, Albion, Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, as well as Portage. And with all of those combined, we have over 600 participants. For Albion, our capacity is 75, so that is our newest center, and the capacity is 75. I think we're probably somewhere around 50 right now. And then here, it really does take a village. If you've ever been a caregiver, I've been a caregiver 6 times. So I am actually younger than I look, but I've been a caregiver 6 times. And if anybody in this room has ever been a caregiver, or if anyone in the room that is elderly and have to kind of manage and orchestrate all of these things, you know how taxing it can be. So what we do all of that heavy lifting for you. So it's on purpose that the participant is in the middle, because it's really all participant-centered. We provide, the nursing. We become their primary care provider. We provide home care, like light home cleaning, meal planning, grocery shopping. We do in-home medical treatment, spiritual care, transportation to all of their medical appointments, and to our adult day center. And the adult day center really is like it's almost like a daycare for the elderly. They come and they just come alive. So typically, as you get older, you have less friends because a lot of them have died off. So they get to come and interact with a lot of people that's their age and just really get excited. We do all type of things, from bingo, karaoke. Last week, if you saw the Albion Recorder, there was prom day and all these amazing, exciting things. So sometimes the best care plan is keeping them at home. And so we are designed to keep them out of the nursing home. The nursing home is kind of, in my opinion, a prison for the elderly, because it's very regulated. They regulate when you get up, when you can have visitors, when you can eat. And a lot of them really want to just stay at home. And that's where Senior Care Partners P.A.C.E come in. And so from a benefit perspective, when the participant is happy, it pays forward. So the caregiver is not as stressed out, they're not as burnt out, they get to be the daughter and the son again, because when you're taking care of your parents, you're kind of like their parent. And so you get to get all of that time back, which is a beautiful thing. And then that pays forward to the medical community, because you have less falls, less readmissions to the hospital, less emergency visits. We all know that when you go to the emergency room, a lot of times you come out worse than you were than when you went in. And so that's why Senior Care Partners P.A.C.E is so amazing. Just so you know, like if you're wondering why would someone choose P.A.C.E? Well, our whole direct care staff is 100% vaccinated. Our primary care provider's caseload is about 75. A typical physician's caseload is about 1,300. And so that's why, and a lot of them are not specialized in geriatric care. So here we have, the caseload is a lot smaller, so they get more customized care. Additionally, these are the top 5 chronic illnesses, and I'm sure all of you are aware. As you get older, there's there's congestive heart failure, there's diabetes, there's a lot of mental things that are going on, and 60% of our participants have dementia. All of our centers have a memory care center as well for the participants. We provide in-home medical treatment. We partner with the medical community, such as Bronson, Ascension Health, Henry Ford, Allegiance. There's frequent and very transparent communication between the participant and their caregiver. And we have a 96% satisfaction rate. So we are super excited about that. I'm moving a little bit faster because I don't want us to run out of time, because I want you to see a video. But this very last point on this slide is very important. When you put your folks in a nursing home, it costs $7,000 to $10,000 a month. It is extremely expensive. Even if a person was not Medicare or Medicaid eligible, because that's what is required, even if they decided to private pay, it's only like $5,000. So it's still cheaper than a nursing home. We'll skip past the P.A.C.E difference page. and just go into how it works. So basically, we get an understanding if they're eligible financially. So Medicare and Medicaid eligible is required, and living in the service area. And being, that they may be ridden with some chronic illnesses. And then we assess their needs from a medical perspective, and if all stars line up, then they are enrolled in our program and we can kind of do the victory lap. So I want to show this one video and then I will be done. If you could click on there, let me see, go back one and click on the link at the bottom. You'll have to go back one. And you can just hear from our participants yourself. Yep, so that link at the bottom, go up one. Yep, that slide, and then go up just one. Yep, that one. It should take you directly to the video. These are our participants, and this was filmed last fall. You scroll up, and then just click that little arrow. There you go. Is there volume? Okay.
Should be a ball of rain.
Yeah. Okay, well, no worries. We see their mouths talking. You can go to Senior Care Partners P.A.C.E.MI.org, and if you click on the P.A.C.E. difference, you will see it in all of your bags. You will see our annual report. That's our street creds. We have the one-pager explaining the program. We have a QR code in there, and that will take you directly to the website, and so you can see the video yourself. We also have an open house to the community on June 23rd, and I am super excited that you all have decided that there will be a proclamation on that day. It would be Senior Care Partners P.A.C.E. Day. So feel free to come out. I believe it's from 3 to 6 p.m. And that's it. So there's a lot of stuff in your bag that you can take back. And I'm sorry you didn't get to see the video because it was absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Ms. Kemp.
Yep. We do have care resources.
All right, next we have Ms. Donisha Brewer from our YMCA summer programs.
Hello, my name is Donisha Brewer at 309 Booth Drive. So today I just want to talk a little bit about what the YMCA has going on this summer. First, we are going to be doing a summer sports camp. It is a 6-week sports camp, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. This will begin on, July, and
If you hit
will
the play button, we're frozen.
and run through August 15th. As said before, we are looking to work with other organizations to help provide resources. And so right now we have 4-H Creative and Expressive Arts Day Camp that we're working with. They will begin in July and they will run their program through the Baum Theater. We are also working with the WHO organization. We have some things to finalize with them. We also have a lot of things in the works with other organizations such as Difference Makers. And if there's any other organization who would like to work with us, we just ask that you submit a plan of what you are requiring and how we can offer support and partner with your organization. We are also working with 4-H in the capacity of starting a leadership academy called Generational Force, and so we're reaching out to old 4-H members to see how we can offer leadership support to the community. We're also working with the So What organization to see how we can offer support and resources there. So we're doing a lot as far as collaborative work and partnering with other outside organizations, and we're also hoping to work with the Nature Center here soon. Another thing another hat that I wear in this role is with the Bum Theater, and so we will start our movie series July 2nd. This will be free for all kids. They are to be accompanied by a paying adult. We will also offer a 6-week dance class starting July 15th. So there are a lot of good things in the work. We're looking for lifeguards and swim instructors. So if there's anyone who know of a swimmer or someone who can instruct, we are just asking that they're 16 years of age, and we do provide certification. So, yes.
Councilman Muller?
Thank you so much. So there's no football or basketball?
With the summer camp, it will be basketball, golf, tennis, and flag football, as well as swimming. We're hoping to do with the Juneteenth coming up, we're going to be doing a one-on-one tournament, and we're hoping to run some basketball tournaments as well this summer.
So is there like a central location?
Right now, we're running everything out of the Opportunity School. And this is all in addition to our classes. So we still have the cardio drumming, we still have water aerobics, we still have hip hop dance, we still have group fitness with boxing and Silver Stars. So.
And do students have to get registered for?
There will be a registration form that will go out, so be on the lookout for that. We do a lot of posting on Facebook. We also have an Albion tab at the Battle Creek YMCA website now, so people can go there as well to register. And then I know you mentioned T-ball. As far as T-ball, we are working with Playwright Sports Academy to offer T-ball to the community. We will have a big T-ball kickoff on June 25th, which will be a huge day. We will be a part of the dedication to the T-ball garden, as well as having a basketball tournament at the high school that day, in addition to a daddy-daughter dance as well. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Lots of things happening. Yes.
The summer sports camp, what were the days?
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, and it starts when?
That starts July 11th,
And it ends
August 15th.
August 15th. Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
And so, like you were saying on the YMCA page for the Albion events, are all of these?
They will all be listed, yes. It's a very new page. We are also hoping to get a Facebook page started because we do not have an Albion specific page. So,
Just great to be able to get these out.
yes.
to
And we
everyone
also
here.
do send all of the information out via email, which Jill does a really good job of updating the Albion website, the city website, and it reflects all of everything that's sent out in email. So,
Awesome. Any other questions for Donisha on all these wonderful events?
thank you.
Thank you. So next up, we have Amy Deprez, who is here to give us an update from the EDC.
So, Jill, does this work? You don't know. Once you get it up, I'll test it. So otherwise, I'm going to just say next slide. I'll be saying next slide. Next slide. So thank you for having me today to give you an update on, this is titled really for a review of 2021, but part of 2021 was looking at strategic planning for the next phase of the Economic Development Strategic Plan, so we looked forward. So the end of this presentation, we're gonna talk a little bit about what was covered during that time. But for now, we're gonna go over the industrial, the small business, the community development and strategic plan. Next. Starting with industrial projects, we got 3 listed. The one that's highlighted here is Consumers Energy. As you may be aware, the EDC owns a building in the industrial park at 910 Bernstein. Early 21 January timeframe, Consumers decided to put their tool hub there. They have been continuing to grow and are actually looking at some other options to accommodate the growth that's happening there. So that gives just a little bit of insight on what's going on in that building. Next slide. Trident Greenwell was the first constructed marijuana operation that we had in the industrial park. The photo really needs to get updated. The building is complete. Last I heard, they were waiting for inspection by the state in order to be operational. Next slide. And then Sinclair Engineering and Design. You've heard me talk about them at length other times. They started in their garage, father and son. This past year, they did $1 million expansion in the former incubator building that the city owned, that they purchased, I think in 2018 or 2019. So this was an expansion of 9,000 physical feet, and then it was also machinery and equipment, so it totaled $1 million. Next slide. Now you're paying attention to my notes. So industrial development is quickly approaching where we won't have land to take on any new projects. So you heard me not too long ago come in and we did a closeout for the CDBG grant for the site readiness, and we ended with a master site development plan for the 40 acres on East Michigan. So this gives you some insight on what it's going to take for us to build out an industrial park there for light and heavy industrial. That's going to be $2.75 million, but that will help us continue down the path of growing our industrial base and getting new developments. Next slide. In that same vein as industrial growth, business retention and growth is many things. So we can't just look at new opportunities. We have to make sure that our existing businesses are taken care of too. So early 2021, we were in the midst of COVID. Many businesses were having trouble trying to make standard operating business expenditures be covered. So the EDC launched a fund, the Albion Small Business Pandemic Response Fund, that had 4 programs, 2 grants and 2 loans. Only one program was utilized, but we overutilized it, so we took some of the micro grant money to balance it out. We ended up with 6 grants of totaling $22,300 under that pandemic grant program. Next slide. Entrepreneurship's a big part of business retention and growth, making sure that our entrepreneurs are taken care of, our small businesses are growing. Last year we launched Dream, Build, Rise Albion. That it resulted in 2 different Explore sessions, and we have 50 active entrepreneurs in our database currently. When I say active, they're at different ranges of activity right now, but they're all seeming to continue through. That's been kind of put on hold while we flesh out some of the leadership issues that have arisen in 2022. However, that will continue. There will be some grant funding that we're going to apply for to continue that program and expand it beyond just the educational, to do more networking, now it just went right out of my head. Expert assistance, things like that, where small businesses don't always have the liquid money to pay for an attorney or something, so we'll get pro bono hours built up. So expert assistance is something that we're going to spend some time building out. Next slide. Lastly, under business retention and growth is workforce task force. This past May, this wasn't 2021, but May 11th, we held our first in-person job fairs since COVID. We had a great turnout of employers. We had 35 plus employers representing a wide range of jobs. Unfortunately, we only had 11 job seekers. So the same way we pushed it out in years past resulted in somewhere between 70 and 100 at our other job fair events, resulted in 11 this year. So that's probably indicative of where we are in the market right now, because there was jobs at that fair that required no experience and were paying $50,000. So good paying jobs, no experience, like I said, a wide range. We've got plenty of jobs available. And then we also have task force that are working on 2 subcommittees, both child care, which we feel contributes to that job seeker number. There's not enough child care options to have primarily females to get back to work, and the skill development subcommittee. Next slide. Community development is also a critical part of looking at economic development and the growth of our city and making sure we have a healthy ecosystem. Housing is part of that. And we got to remember that housing is comprehensive. It's not just a single family, it's apartments. It is Wildflower Crossing with leased land. And then, so there was 2 projects that completed, and then there's 4 pre-development projects that we continue to work on today that are varied. So some might be senior housing is one, apartments, and then also the Albion Charming Homes are in pre-sale, which is around the Harrington neighborhood of the college. Next slide. So this is where I'm going to show you kind of a recap of what we did for the last Economic Development Strategic Plan. So we approved that plan in 2016, 2017. It ran from 2017 to 2021. You can see on here the downtown, we had 6 buildings that were redeveloped during that time. We were at 30% of our goal. We have a goal of 20 by 2025. I feel very confident that Albion will meet that goal, especially with the Big Albion plan that is continuing to gain momentum. We had 3 facade improvements, so enhancing the exterior of the building, and 8 new residential units. Next slide. Just spoke about housing, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time there, but we had several projects that were completed during that. Brick Street, Wildflower Crossing, the pre-sale of Charming Homes, and then Peabody Block, which was the first redevelopment project in the downtown that started back in 2017, completed in 2018. Next slide. Workforce development. So when we look at workforce development and the goals that were associated with that, these bullets kind of pop up as successes. There was retention and expansions, new operations, entrepreneurship falls underneath that. So you can get an idea of the breadth of activity that happened under workforce development during that strategic plan. Next slide. This one is kind of interesting, and I'm not going to say that it's 100% inclusive because it was put together pretty fast. But it shows by year and by corridor what developments happened. So in our economic development strategic plan, it called for corridor development and improvements. This shows all of the businesses that were put into operations in those corridors during that time. Next slide. This is probably the most impressive slide, I think. When we look at the downtown district, which is outlined in blue, all of the developments from, this started at 2015, so a little bit before the EDSP was approved for the first round with the Bone Theater. And it shows by year, color coordinated, what developments happened, ending with the pending development of the Big Albion plan in the light blue. Other than that little zoom up there right in the middle of it, you can see how concentrated the development really is. And I think when we're living each day and we're driving down the street every week, we get used to the development. We don't realize that there's been a lot that's happened. And it's a good time for us to take a look back and say, wow, we should be proud of where we're at. We did a lot during that time. Next slide. So where are we going in 2022? There's going to be some staffing changes. As you know, Christine Bowman left the organization in mid-March. I'm going to be retiring the end of August. So those changes kind of put the brakes on some of the things that we were planning to do for 2022 as we refocus our energies on new leadership and finding this new CEO. And then rebooting the staff. We don't want to, go too far under rebooting a staff and then, have a new leader come in and want something different. So those will kind of flow in that order. The Economic Development Strategic Plan, the 2022 to 2026 version, was approved at the board meeting last Thursday. It'll be coming before you for consider of approval probably the beginning of August, and we're going to do that with the comprehensive plan. So you're looking at the full plans at one time for the same time period. Industrial growth. The new leadership is going to have to get fast on these next two items. The TIFA financing plan that's the overarching plan for the increment that comes to help us pay for economic development in our community needs to be updated. The last time it was updated was 2013. Part of updating that will flow into the 425 property development. We have to, in order to access some funding to build out that part, we're going to have to identify certain things, one of which is our targeted industries. In the past, we've just gone after any industry that came about. If we want to be a little bit more proactive, but more importantly, go after some of that funding, we have to have that clarified and done out. So that really needs to be the new leadership. Entrepreneurship is going to continue to grow. The Dream Build Rise is going to be filled out in the ecosystem, and hopefully an Invest Albion event will be planned for probably 2023, 2024 in connection with some of the new commercial properties that will open during that time. And then workforce and business retention is always going to be a focus in our job, so that's just the nature of the beast. Excellent. That's it. Hopefully I kept it under 10 minutes.
Do we have any questions for Amy about the information she provided?
Yes, one question.
Yep, go ahead, Mayor Pretend.
So the question is, many people have been asking about senior homes, and I see you have that in there. So was there any type of development, land bought, or a plan that has been put in place, or?
There's a group that's working on senior homes or senior housing. And I've just recently been brought into it now that there is a little bit of traction. So there should be some announcements in the coming months. There is traction on it, there's movement, but we're just not at that point where we can go public yet.
Okay. All right.
It's in the future.
All right. I'll write down in the next coming months, hopefully.
Yeah, you know how this works.
Councilwoman Lawler?
Okay, so I got a couple. It says business retention and growth. As far as the 50-plus entrepreneurs Albion database, does that mean that these 50-plus were in Albion, outside of Albion, and how many were nonprofit?
Oh, I can't tell you how many were nonprofit off the top of my head. I don't think very many. Those are the Dream Build Rise participants, either that went through the 2 explorers or didn't go through it because they weren't quite ready, and we continue to work with them. That's the 50 people. So they're people that are either operating in Albion or will be operating in Albion. That's their intent.
Okay. My second question was the master site development plan for the 425 property. Would marijuana sales be able to go out there? Like if you had a building and a person wanted to sell recreational, would it be able to go out there or no?
That's a good question. I think I was asked that at the EDC board, or I've answered it recently. So somewhere in the last couple of days I've answered it. That follows the ordinance. So as long as the ordinance allows that, as far as it being industrial, it could, and that property is in the city of Albion. So right now, the 40 acres that's got that master site development is in the city of Albion, and it is industrial.
Would you be able to capture tax money off of that or no?
No, that's not in the TIFA district. Those are 2 completely separate things.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks so much.
Yep.
0-day urban renewal. I see that on here as a bullet point. Is that home construction?
Yeah, so that's a project we've been working with for a couple of years now, and maybe 5 or 6, 7 years ago, I don't know, maybe Andrew would be able to know. Some of the members of council actually went and visited 0 Days development in Battle Creek, which is something star, not Rising Star, Silver Star. Thank you. So it's a developer that we've been working with, they are also working with MISTA. So it's for mixed generational, mixed income, multi-housing. So it's 70-unit development, but they're also looking to develop about 16 single-family homes or ownership opportunities. They're usually veteran targeted, but it would not be veteran for Albion. It would be mixed generational, mixed income.
Okay,
We continue to work on that. That's a project that's been in the works for some time, and the city is currently working with them on some environmental and hopefully at some point land control.
I got you. Mixed income, will that capture the low income as well?
Yeah, it won't be a low income or subsidized. But with Albion's, because MISTA's involved, it has to have affordable or attainable incomes. So it goes by, how many people are in the household. Most times when you look at those kinds of projects, the majority of them will be affordable. I wouldn't expect any of those, even our market rate is usually affordable. Does that make sense?
In a way it does, but not really.
Okay.
When market rate is,
800 and something.
well, I think it's more than that here, but yeah.
So market rate for like the downtown, is that what you're talking about?
It's different?
It's not different, but the downtown I think is about $1 square foot for residential.
Okay.
That's pretty consistent with, this is probably gonna be a little lower than that because it is that MISTA where the downtown doesn't have any MISTA element to it. So MISTA requires the rents to be very affordable.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilman French?
I was just going to say, this project doesn't include any kind of Section 8 housing.
No, not at this time.
Right.
This project is in motion.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Now,
Mims?
yes, sorry. The housing that Zero Day would do, is that selling homes to community residents? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so right now, like I said, it's in motion, so it's constantly evolving. The good thing about this project is it's got the very top of MISTA involved. Because it's got a workforce element, the governor has been involved. The governor has instructed all her agencies to be involved. It has the potential to be an incredible case study that Albion would be highlighted in, or would be the lead of it. So, I'm sorry, what was your question? It's a long day.
No, I understand. I think you captured it.
Okay, and please, we haven't had a chance to talk very much, so let me know if there's a time that we can talk, and I'd be happy to go over all the projects in detail with you.
Okay.
Anything publicly that I can say.
Sounds good. The strategic plan, is that available on you guys' website?
It is not, because it is not approved.
The previous one?
The previous one, yes, it should be.
Okay.
We're having problems with our website right now, and it's taking a long time for the help desk to fix it. So if you go to it and you can't find it, please reach out to me and I'll send you a copy.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
And our last presenter is Aaron Edlefson from our Calhoun County Veterans Affairs Office.
Thank you, Mayor Snyder. Like Mayor Snyder said, I'm Aaron Edlefson. I'm the Director of Calhoun County Veterans Affairs, and Councilman Jackson was kind enough to invite me this evening. Her stepfather is in our new commercial. He did a great job.
He did?
He did, yeah. It's going to be great. Very impressive. So, as you can see up there, we are Veterans Affairs, right? So we all know a veteran. We all have a family member. We're a veteran ourselves. We have a friend. And our aim is to help them and their families through difficult times, through good times, regardless of when they serve. So if you want to go to the next slide. Real brief overview. This is like an hour PowerPoint condensed into hopefully 7 more minutes. So we provide benefits at the federal, state, and local level, local being Calhoun County itself. We're funded by a special millage that was approved in 2012. It is up again this year, August 2nd. It'll be on the ballot. Our chairman, Sam Gray, will talk about that when I'm done, just for a brief moment. So all those three benefit levels available in one place. Next slide. So the first element we deal with is Veterans Affairs. This is where we spend the lion's share of our time. And at the end of this, you'll see the impact in Calhoun County. And it's pretty shocking how much money the VA brings into the county at large. Next slide. So the first, this is the most accessed programming we have. One is disability compensation, pension, compensation for survivors, burial, and healthcare enrollment. Next slide. So disability compensation, this is if a veteran is hurt on active duty or they have an injury that surfaces later. Most likely you hear this in regards to Agent Orange exposure for Vietnam veterans. There's a pretty substantial list of conditions and illnesses that are caused by Agent Orange exposure. The most frequently we see are ischemic heart disease, prostate cancer, and type 2 diabetes. So, and there's many other. There's also presumptives for Operation Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom, Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, and also for veterans that served aboard Camp Lejeune. So there's a lot of presumptive conditions. ALS is also a presumptive condition for all veterans, no matter when you serve. It's an automatic 100% disabling, according to the VA. And it quickly increases in the monetary award that goes along with that. Next slide. Our non-service connected pension, so this is for wartime only veterans, and we'll get to wartime eras in a second. It's for low income disabled veterans, and the VA considers you to be disabled once you turn 65. So even if you're in good health at 65, you're disabled. And so you would qualify for this benefit. Next page. Our wartime periods, this will be a quick one. Next page. World War II, so December 7th of 41 to December 31st of 46. They do expand some time beyond the war just to capture all the veterans that were active duty during that time. Next slide. We have the Korean War. Next slide. Vietnam. Next slide. And our current Gulf War, global war on terrorism that started in 1990 and will continue until the president or Congress end that. So the pension that I talked about, your assets have to be under $138,489 to access that, and then beyond that, there's an income threshold. Next slide. So if you hear about this in the community, oftentimes providers refer to it as aid and attendance. Aid and attendance occurs when you're in an assisted living or a nursing home and they're providing your ADLs, your activities of daily living. So the cutoff, it's kind of cut off by the Zoom there, but it's around $1,200 right now for a single veteran. So their income has to be below that, including all sources of income. So if they're getting $1,000 from Social Security, the VA would come in and pay them, for example, $200 to get them up to that $1,200 amount. With housebound and aid and attendance, those go up as level of care is increased. We also do burial benefits, so $2,000 for service-connected deaths. You can keep where you are. I'll go with you. And $796 for non-service connected deaths. Next slide. Other burial benefits, so National Cemeteries, right in, it's in Augusta. A lot of people think it's in Battle Creek, it's in Kalamazoo. But the National Cemetery, if you ever get a chance to visit, you haven't been, I'd suggest it. Presidential Memorial Certificates, so those are certificates printed by the President's office that just thank the family for their loved one's service. We can facilitate getting burial flags if one was not issued at the burial. We also do standard government headstones and markers, which are very popular for unmarked graves in private cemeteries, as well as medallions for existing markers. Next page. Dependency and indemnity compensation. So this is what a surviving spouse would get if a veteran died of a service-connected disability. So veteran has, say, heart disease, they pass away from that or due to complications from that, surviving spouse would get a benefit from that. It also pertains to diagnoses that could have been service-connected. So a veteran had heart disease, but he never filed for it, or she, they passed away from it, the surviving spouse can subsequently apply for that benefit and get it. Next page. So these are the DIC rates, so regardless of income, this is not income dependent, veteran dies of a service-connected disability, surviving spouse would get $1,300 a month. Next page. Survivor's pension is just like the veteran's pension, much lower threshold though, unfortunately. So usually with surviving spouses, we don't see them eligible until they're in a nursing home or assisted living facility. So there's the rates there. You can see they're pretty low. Most surviving spouses we have Social Security that's over $770 some a month. So they wouldn't be eligible. But when you get into an assisted living, like was mentioned previously, or a nursing home, the VA will come in and at least provide a parachute towards Medicare is how I liken it. Next page. Healthcare enrollment, so in Battle Creek, for the time being, we have a medical center. It's a first-rate facility. They don't do medical care per se. They do some small outpatient procedures. Their claim to fame is mental health. They do a wonderful job doing it. We, of course, would hate to see that facility leave. Obviously, we would love to see Kalamazoo and King County's system expand, but we hate to see it at the cost of Calhoun County residents. But if that does move, it'll be quite a few years down the road. Next page. So this is the 2020 impact. Numbers for 2021 haven't come up yet. So we have just over 10,000 veterans in Calhoun County. About a third of those, a little over a third of those receive health care from the VA. When you look at compensation and pension, in Calhoun County alone, the VA paid over $56 million in benefits in 2020. And you can go down, you can see that medical care impact is over $77 million, and total expenditures in 2020 were almost $139 million in Calhoun County. It's not my office alone. There's other players all over the county that help with that. There's service organizations, there's nonprofits, but we all come together to contribute and help get our veterans and their families that $139 million that goes right back into the community. Next page. This is my bragging section, right? So we have Kalamazoo County next door, where I came from. You can't see it there, but they have almost 5,000 more veterans than we do, and you can see in those numbers that we do better than they do, right? So this is my Calhoun County brag slide. The only thing they have us beat on is education. I attribute that to Western, go Broncos, and they also beat us in general operating. So that's operating costs outside of the medical center. Next slide. All right, so state of Michigan benefits, there's really three areas that we look to the state for. The first being, next slide, Michigan Veterans Trust Fund. We assist with property tax exemptions. Of course, the municipalities handle those. And then discharge document requests like DD-214s and discharges from previous to the DD-214. Next slide. So Michigan Veterans Trust Fund is an emergency relief program for wartime veterans and their surviving spouses. It helps with any kind of emergency financial need. You name it, we've probably paid for it. It was recently opened to peacetime veterans over the age of 65 just for housing and utilities. So it's progress, right? Getting all the veterans involved at the state level. Next slide. Property tax exemption, so veterans who are 100% rated or have IU from the VA don't pay property taxes, they're exempted from those. So we help get decision letters, we help with any municipalities that are having a difficult time understanding the law, we help to clarify that. Next slide. So, Calhoun County benefits, right? This is the bread and butter. I'm at 9 minutes and 12 seconds. So our Veterans Relief Fund, you can skip this slide because I'll hit it all during my spiel. So this is like the trust fund, but it's only for peacetime veterans, and it includes peacetime veterans. It also includes guardsmen and reservists. So we just expanded that net that the trust fund wouldn't catch. Next slide. You can see our Veterans Relief Fund for the last 5 years, we've paid over $433,000 in emergency financial assistance to Calhoun County residents. Next slide. In food vouchers, over the last 3 years, we've provided $57,300 in food vouchers to veterans that were 200% or below the FPL. That was direct response to COVID. The state saw there might be an issue with veterans getting food, so they stepped in, offered those vouchers. We, in turn, purchased them off of the state and provided them to the veterans. Next page. We have a burial, that's embarrassing. We have a burial program. It's $500 for wartime veterans and spouses, $200 for a headstone. State statute stipulates that we provide $365. $65 doesn't do a headstone placement anymore. The law's from 1930s. So at the beginning of this year, Sam and the committee, with their guidance, decided to raise that to $500 to $200. Next slide. And our scholarships at Western and KCC, we maintain endowments there. So Western, we started that endowment with $35,000. At KCC, we have a $25,000 endowment. So every year we award veterans that attend those facilities scholarships based upon the interest that those gather. Western's done a great job. KCC has done a phenomenal job investing our money. They're pretty aggressive, and it's reaped some great benefits. So we just awarded our new recipient for that. We should be hearing from him soon. Next page. And discharge documents. We maintain over 13,000 discharge documents and growing every day, and our latest dates back to 1863, and it's pretty phenomenal to hold that 1863 discharge in your hand and think about how old it's, where it's been and how old it is, and it's, the history behind it is amazing. Next slide. So other services, we request military service and medical records to help veterans with their claims or for historical purposes. We refer to other social service and government entities. We liaison with the Battle Creek Medical Center, so if any veterans have an issue there, we step in and try to resolve that. We also liaison with federal, state, and local officials, more so federal, just because most of our time is spent at federal benefits, but state and local elected officials also play into that as well. Next slide. Yeah, next slide. Other way. One more. So you're obviously welcome to ask any questions, but I just wanted to get our contact information up there. We're at the Toller Building downtown, our phone number and email. So if any of you would like to contact the office, have questions that you think of after tonight's meeting, you're more than welcome to reach out. I'd love to just talk about them. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I heard you say something about a possibility of the VA being moved from the Calhoun County. Is the county commissioner or the state rep have any, are they interested in not moving it or anything like that?
Yeah, there's been meetings, there's task force being organized. Unfortunately, right now they're kind of disjointed, right? When everything starts, everybody's doing their own thing. We hope to bring those together soon because it would be a huge loss. Beyond the fiscal impact, the mental health impact on the community would be.
So could this millage, if passed, could it possibly help with any repairs that might be done to the building or for it to stay?
So the millage, it's a renewal. It's been in place since 2012. It does not generate enough income to help with, but that facility is, I want the VA to stay in Battle Creek, but they need a new facility. Facilities from 1931, it's old, right? No offense, I don't think anybody's up there, but it needs to be replaced. And they can do that, they can replace that facility, but keep it here. They got the land, beautiful golf course, wonderful facility. It just takes a little foresight.
I was just concerned about with transportation, to get way to Grand Rapids, that's quite a long ways for those that don't have transportation, and those, I know you do provide transportation to these different facilities. My father is one, I'm a veteran myself, and so I know you do compensate if they do get to the facility, but I know it's still kind of hard for those that
Financial compensation doesn't make up for the inconvenience.
No.
Right. So one last question. Is the Post and Albion on board with trying to get this millage passed, or have there been talk? Okay.
Al's from the Albion Post. He's on our committee with Sam.
Okay.
So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any questions? We're at 15 minutes, Chief. See ya. Okay, all right. Thank you all so much. Feel free to reach out if you have any more questions.
Thank you.
All right, so we don't have any need for public hearing, so we're at our public comment portion. So if anybody in the gallery would like to stand and address council in regards to an agenda item only, this is your opportunity.
It's not related to that, but I want to say, are there any other veterans in the audience? Thank you for your service.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor. Wayne Arnold, 906 Hall Street. Now, I think this qualifies as an agenda item. If not, I'm pretty sure somebody gonna correct me. But I would like to just give the council an update on the Equity Task Board meeting we had. Do that qualify as an agenda item?
Not on the agenda.
So
we do have another public comment at the end of our meeting.
no, I thought that would fall up under.
It's under your board.
I thought that would fall up under appointments of boards and commissions.
Not to last.
That don't fall under boards and commissions?
No, so this is an approval of an application.
Mr. Arnold, I do have an update from our
Yes.
meeting in my city manager's report, so I will kind of cover what we discussed and share
Oh,
that the
okay.
Equity Task Force is now active.
Okay.
That's in the next part.
Okay, all right. Yeah, well,
We'll get it. Anybody else? Anybody else like to stand and address council? All right. I will entertain a motion to proceed to our closed session.
Support.
So moved.
Support.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Reed? Yes. Jackson?
Yes.
Lawler?
Yes.
French?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
And Mayor Slater?
Yes. So adjourned at 8:06 PM to go to closed session.
Just keep it going. Mute it. No, don't stop it. Just mute, you just need to mute it. Turn the microphone off. Down to the bottom, Joe. All the way to the left. Next to the camera.
confused.
All right, so I will go ahead and resume our council meeting at 8:52 p.m. In our packets, we have items under our consent calendar, which are the May 16th study session minutes and the May 16th regular session minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Any corrections, comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Consent, approving the consent calendar.
Councilmember Reed,
That's A?
No, it's the consent
Yeah.
agenda.
The consent agenda items.
yes. Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
and Middlestein.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the medical marijuana provisioning license for Sunnies?
So moved.
Support.
Attorney Harkness?
As indicated in the work session, this is a renewal of an existing provisioning license. It's cleared all departmental review, it's cleared my office's review, as well as planning commission review, so the staff's recommending approval.
Any questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
and Middlestein.
Yes. Motion to approve the adult use grow and processing permit for Panacea Health Solutions.
So moved.
Support.
Attorney Harkness?
This is a new application for a new adult use grow and processing license. It's passed review by all departments, it's passed review by my office, is my understanding. It's also been approved by the planning commission. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. So the staff is recommending approval.
Questions or comments?
The only thing I would add is that both of these applications need to be turned in after you vote on the second one tonight.
Councilman French?
Thank you. How big a facility is this one going to be? Growing, number of plants or square footage, some sort of number?
It's as far as the square footage, I would have to defer to our planning director, but it's one grower license, so it should be 2,000 plants.
2,000, okay. Thank you.
Indoor? Indoor, yes.
And is this medical?
That is adult use.
No.
Any other questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Lawler,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
No.
Jackson,
No.
and Middlestein.
Yes. So in our packets, we had the application for Ms. Gwen Garcia to be appointed to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Those.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
They need those. We got-
Support.
Ms. Garcia is here with us this evening. Of course, we met her as we were going through our rounds of interviews for the vacant council seat. Do we have any questions or comments for Ms. Garcia? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
and Middlestein.
Yes. Congratulations and welcome.
Excuse me, Ms. Mayor.
Yes. Councilman Lawler.
I want to make a motion to move agenda item M as the next agenda item as to the person that wants to know about this item is pressed for time a little bit. So I'd like to make a motion to move that to the next agenda item if possible.
To do that since we already approved the agenda? as-
You can, by vote, you can amend the agenda, yeah.
I support that motion.
Some will be supported.
City Clerk, do we have to take a vote on that to approve it?
Yes.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed, Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. All right, so we have a discussion to approve closing either Jefferson Street to Austin Ave or 3rd Street to Wild for a block party on June 18th. So like Councilwoman Waller mentioned, this was a late addition to the agenda. So we have a handwritten note that was provided for us. And is it?
Weigh in here, before we have her speak.
What was that?
I can weigh in just a little bit
Oh,
before we
okay.
have her speak on it. So by office, we received this request mid-morning to close off the 2 proposed streets to have a block party held by Ms. Cortasia Wilson. It would be for Saturday, June 18th from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. She has talked with Chief Kemp. We've advised if this is approved that the street would need to be reopened by 10 p.m. That kind of falls in line with when we close our parks. That's right around sunset. And then party would be done by midnight. I just might want to make a recommendation if we move forward with this. I would suggest that we develop a formal policy moving forward. Right now, we don't have any guidelines on why we're approving one, and if someone else comes before and if they deny their request, I think we could possibly be opening the door to some issues down the future. But this is up to council's discretion, but I would advise that we create a formal policy. If you would like to share a little bit about your event.
Cortasia Wilson, 814 Hall Street.
Let us speak into the...
And the mic, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. Cortasia Wilson, 814 Hall Street. My birthday is on June 19th. I would like to celebrate it here in Michigan with my family and friends and bring the community together. And at the block party, I would also like to have food there, drinks, and all that type of stuff. It would be for my birthday and Juneteenth. Because it obviously falls in line with each other. So that's really the only reason for the event. And it's really to bring the community together.
So Ms. Wilson is the whole neighborhood invited?
I mean, yeah. I personally don't know everyone in the community. I know who I know, my family members and my friends and things like that. So that's as far as I'm extending the invite. As in, I'll have a flyer go out, but I also have security too that I'm looking to have, also walking around the party just to make sure things stay safe. Because it's supposed to be a safe, good night. It's supposed to be a good event. And safety is the number one thing. So numbers is I'm not a big person who brings in a big crowd. So I don't see that being an issue at all, honestly, numbers wise.
So I guess my only other question, so you live on Hall Street?
Yes.
But you're looking to have the party?
On Jefferson Street?
Or 3rd?
Or 3rd Street?
Yeah.
My mom lives, I'm from here, from Albion. I grew up in Broadwell. So my mom lives up there currently. That's right by her house. And Jefferson Street, I picked Jefferson Street because that street is very vacant. There's not many houses on that street, not too many people you can disturb or have to ask many questions. And there's not a lot of traffic going up and down that street either. So I tried to pick a street that didn't have much traffic and didn't have many houses to be disrupted or, I tried to think about people too.
Mm-hmm. No.
As in planning this. So that's really why Jefferson Street, honestly.
Okay. Attorney Hartness?
So 2 things. One, the request is presented as an or, so if council approves the request, I think realistically the motion needs to be either you're approving Jefferson to Austin or you're approving 3rd to Wild.
Correct.
Not,
yeah.
One or the other.
Can I follow up with that? Chief, can you weigh in on the 2 possible options? Do you have, just based on traffic flow and public safety department,
As she stated, either of the locations have very little traffic. Both of them are dead-end streets that don't just go one block. And so either of those locations are fine. The one that her mom's house is on, actually, I think there's 2 houses on the street now. We have closed that down in the past for block parties on 3rd Street, so it would be the first time that's happening.
So that's the
You said on 3rd?
3rd to Wild?
On 3rd Street or
Yeah,
Jefferson?
from Broadwell to Wild right there is just a short block on 3rd Street.
So yeah, the planning was basically for you guys. Like, I didn't know how I needed to present it to you, so I gave either or.
Yeah.
I gave 2 streets just in case traffic was a thing or neighbors were a thing. I tried to wait out and do it. Present it that
Good,
way.
you did good.
Attorney Harkness?
So the only other thing I want to point out, and I don't know if Ms. Wilson is aware of this, but so closing off a street is one thing, but then council needs to be aware, we also have an ordinance that prohibits consumption of beer, wine, or alcohol on any public street unless it's a nonprofit or a business that's doing it. So an individual could have a block party like we're talking about, but alcohol consumption wouldn't be permitted in the city street.
That's fine. Like, so I would get in trouble for that if someone did it?
Oh, yeah.
So what does that mean? No, I mean, what does that mean? Like, I can't, you can't control no kid, you can't control no adult either. So, how, like, what does that look like? Because I mean, like you said it before, there's been block parties. There's been block parties before, there's been all these things that happened before. So, my question is, what do you want me, what do I do? What do you want to see from me? To have that not happen, or what?
If this is approved and with your event, I would encourage your attendees to consume, if they are going to consume alcohol, to have it within the actual home and not outside along the street.
Okay.
I think public safety, obviously, they'll be aware of the event, so they will probably be patrolling. And then if someone is found to be consuming out in the public space, a citation would be issued. Chief could correct me if I'm wrong, but I would just encourage any of your attendees to kind of stay in the house or close.
I got you.
So you said your mom lives on Wild Street?
No, my mom lives on Third Street.
So maybe like in her backyard, if people wanted to have a beverage?
So that's why we can figure it out. I'm very like, what you want me to do? Like, what do you want from me? Like, I'm asking something from you, so okay, what do you want from me? Like, to keep this in order and make sure it stays safe and give, like, just whatever.
I mean, I totally get wanting to block off traffic so that you have more space. But kind of like what the attorney was saying, you just kind of need to be conscientious about where the booze may be traveling. So it's like, if you're in the backyard, your mom's backyard, that's her private property, so, but.
That makes sense.
Councilwoman Lawler?
Okay, so you said that it would, instead of 6 p.m. to 12, it would just have to be 6 to 10?
The closing of the
block
street
off
would
the
be from
road.
6 to 10, but so we would reopen the roadway at 10 p.m., but then her proposed event is until 12 a.m. So that would be able to be, to continue until that time, we just would have, traffic would just be able to resume passing through that 10 p.m.
Okay. And I do agree with you about having something put in place.
Security, what do you have for security besides calling the police? I mean, you have people that walk around not carrying their own guns and stuff like that, that if something should come up that they don't like, do you have somebody there that you're going to have kind of monitor people that are coming?
Yes, I have security, like actual, like just security, like real security. Because me personally, I'm a big person about not getting shot. Like, I don't live a lifestyle to get shot. I don't. So, in any way I can avoid it while having fun, I will. So if I gotta have security there, then that's what's gonna happen. If I gotta have any else, we gotta be safe. Safety come before fun. So that's how I look at it. Like, and I'm not just saying this to get this for proof. No, that's really how I feel. Because it's my safety too. I'm out there just as well as everybody else. So I want to make sure everyone is safe, not just myself included. Everyone. So I will have. She's literally waiting on me to tell her how, like, if this gets approved, so she can tell their team, and they can know how many people they need to bring to make sure everything stays safe. So all the planning is going around today, right now. What happens with this, and if it actually gets approved or not. I'm not going to set up all the planning if there's nothing to plan for. But I do plan on having like security, and it's trained security. There's a whole security team. Like, it's not someone who a friend of mine who I'm going to go walk around. No, they're actually security guards.
So I would like invitation, or whoever wants to come.
It's like, it's a block party. So it's kind of like, you you can't really regulate a block like that. Like, I can say invitation only, but if there's an open grass, I can't stop you from walking up. There's nothing I can personally do to you, and there's nothing I can't. I physically, I'm not no police officer. I can't arrest you. I can't do anything. So it's invite. Who shows up is who shows up. But like I said, I'm not in like the known person. I'm not they don't gonna pop out like that. Like it's not gonna be a huge turnout, and it's kind of late notice too. Like it's happening like a week and a half now, so really it's kind of late notice for a huge crowd to turn out.
Councilwoman Lawler?
So how do we move forward? Is there a motion like to say, first of all, Jefferson or Austin, or do we nominate one or the other? How do we do this?
Well, I would like to make a motion to approve closing 3rd to Wild from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Or do I have a support for that?
So
Support.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
and Mayor Slater.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yep. So I would just say work with Chief Kemp.
They work with them?
Yep.
All right, thank you guys so much.
And we wouldn't mind an invitation.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, y'all are invited.
All right. Motion to approve the 2022 biennial bridge inspection proposal.
So moved.
Support.
City Manager Snyder?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this is required by the state that we formally inspect all of our bridge structures every other year. So included in your packet is a proposal from Whiteman & Associates. They are the engineering firm that we have a service agreement in place with. We've also utilized them in the past. They have 2 certified bridge inspectors on staff that meet the MDOT requirements for bridge inspections, so they would complete the work. This needs to be done by August, so time is flying, so I recommend approval. The total fee to have this work done is $17,500.
Questions for our city manager? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Slater.
Yes. Motion to approve the IRS vehicle lease for ADPS Deputy Chief.
So moved.
Support.
Give a brief overview of it. If you'd like.
You or Deputy Chief?
I can, and then if you have any questions, I'm sure he'd be glad to
Okay.
speak on it. Go ahead. So a part of his roles with the IRS Criminal Investigations Division, he, along with Detective Nicole Wygant, they are provided with a vehicle to use through the IRS. They pay for all costs. This has been done for quite some time now, and it has already been approved by the IRS, and then we bring it to council for formal approval, just kind of as a formality. So we are recommending approval. Deputy Chief, if you have anything else that I missed, if you'd like to weigh in.
You pretty well covered everything, so it's usually the city manager that would go and sign the lease agreement, and then we file that with the clerk's office once it's completed, so.
Any questions for either our city manager or Deputy Chief?
Nope.
Nope. City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
and Mayor Slater.
Yes. Motion to approve the vending permit application fee.
So moved.
Support.
City Manager Snyder?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So council, as you can recall, you approved ordinance number 2022-03, an ordinance to establish the allowance of mobile food vending trucks or businesses within our community on April 4th, 2022. So now a part of that, we need to establish a fee that goes along with this permit. We do have vendors who have approached the city looking for to take advantage of this. So included, there is a formal vending permit application as well as a recommendation from Director Arnold and a copy of that ordinance. So we are looking for a temporary vendor permit, which I believe is 7 days, for $30 for a resident, or a temporary permit for non-resident, $45, and then the full year vendor permit for a resident would be $250, and then for a non-resident, that would be $400.
Councilwoman Waller?
Okay, so this is just for the parks, or is this for like a festival downtown also? Or is that two separate things?
So this would cover, if they applied for that permit, they would be able to, so would cover all of it. So this
Okay.
is just to allow them to operate within our community.
Okay, thank you.
Questions? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Jackson?
Yes.
Waller?
Yes.
French?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder?
Yes. Motion to approve the park reservation fees for nonprofit organizations.
So move, I'm sorry.
Support.
I'm ready.
City Manager Slater?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So at the April 18th, 2022 regular meeting, you all tasked me with coming up with a process on waiving park reservation fees for nonprofit organizations. So I reached out to city managers across the state through the MME listserv, which is the Michigan Municipal Executive listserv, to see how this is being handled in other communities. The majority of the feedback that I received from all managers that they do not completely waive fees for a nonprofit organization. They do assess some level of fees, which usually is lower than the resident and non-residential fee that they have in place, but they do not completely waive it. So I'm recommending that we kind of follow in suit, and just speaking with the Attorney Harkness and other managers weighed in that they were advised by their legal counsel that essentially waiving a fee to a nonprofit or just a private company, it's essentially you're providing a public service for free, which is not legal. So I want to make sure that we are abiding by the rules and not violating and possibly opening the city up to potential litigation. So included, we are recommending to reserve the pavilion or shelter reservation at $50 for a nonprofit organization. The band shell or any other park reservations is $75, and then to rent the entire park for any events or terminates would be $100 per day.
Questions for our city manager? Councilwoman Reed?
I still think that is high, okay, I can understand a fee, but for a pavilion, $50, and for a thing like the band shell, $70, that's still really high. And why I say that is because we ordered things for Juneteenth, teaching things for children and other people so that they would understand what Juneteenth was all about. And that's not cheap. And when you get into purchasing things that you're giving away, plus you still have to pay all of that, it's a lot, especially when you don't have income coming in. When you depend on people to help you to do that. So I think $50 for everybody is still high. So.
Thank you I can hear your concerns. I think we also have to keep in mind that we do have to cover the cost for wages for our employees who do come out to clean up and maintain the parks after the event is over, as well as just these fees go towards the replacement of equipment within our park spaces, the picnic tables. Costs have increased drastically, so we need to make sure that we are being able to support that those expenses. So I think this kind of falls in line with the fees that other communities charge for nonprofit organizations, and so I recommend approval.
Any other questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Waller?
Yes.
French?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Reed?
No.
Jackson?
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder?
Yes. Motion to approve the 2022 fee schedule amendment.
So move.
Support.
And City Manager Slater.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So included in your packet is an updated copy of our 2022 fee schedule. That includes the new fees that you just approve the vending permit application fee as well as the park reservations fees, and we are recommending approval.
Questions, comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Motion to approve adding the delinquent miscellaneous receivables to the 2022 summer tax bill.
So moved.
Support.
Director Meade, is he available? Yes, there he is.
Good evening. As was stated in the study session, the miscellaneous receivables generally are made up of abatements or different code violations that get assessed to the properties. So they are separate from the delinquent utilities, which will be coming up next. But in 2022, the list is rather short, so much better than in past years. So I guess I'll open it up to you if there's any questions on transferring these over to the tax bill.
Councilman Lawler, did you have your hand up?
Yes, ma'am. So I just have a question. How can a person be reliable? I'm just going to give an address, 200 North Clinton Street. At that address, I'm being informed that there is no current water or meter there. So I'm just trying to figure out how we assess a tax upon them unless the information I'm receiving is not accurate.
So I think you're ahead one.
You're right. I was just going to say I could answer that now, or I can wait till we get to that.
Okay, well, you can wait till you get to it. Okay.
So for the delinquent miscellaneous.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I see it, yeah. My fault.
The names that are listed there, those are
Property owners.
okay, the property owners.
Correct.
This could include an assortment of different code violations, whether they had to be assessed for maintaining the grass, if they had yard waste that needed to be removed. We do have a formal process in place where they are issued notices and warnings to have it completed within so many days, and if it is not done, that's where we have an agreement in place with a company to come out and remove any yard waste or materials, and then we do have a service that will maintain the yard mowing and over the grass.
Councilman Lawler?
Okay, so, maybe this is a question for Colin. How is it going that we receive these miscellaneous receivables? Is that going pretty good, or are we kind of stuck with it, or where are we at with it?
As far as collection,
As far as collecting it?
well, I'll back up a little bit. The way the ordinance reads, these are receivables that were delinquent as of September 30th of 2021, the preceding year. So these are relatively, I guess I'd say, quite delinquent. You know, they're not recent delinquencies, these are quite delinquent. And obviously in the traditional methods of sending delinquent, or, sending billings and then delinquent note letters and stuff, we will collect a lot of them, but not all. And then these are the ones that are left. And the final step for collection is to put it onto the tax bill. And through that process, the collection is very good, because if the property owner doesn't pay it, when the delinquent taxes go to the county, that they will make us whole at that point.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Councilmember Lawler, I would say that the collection process is going well with only having 5 properties listed. Residents usually are good when they receive that invoice or notice that their property has been abated.
Okay, great.
Any other questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Motion to approve adding the delinquent utility bills to the 2022 summer tax bills.
So moved. Support.
Director Mead?
Same as the miscellaneous receivables, these would be utility bills delinquent as of September 30th of 2021, or older, and the process is that we would bring these to you, you would vote on that we would be allowed to add them to the property tax bill for collection, just like with miscellaneous receivables. And if you want, I can answer, I'm sorry, your question again was about what if the water's off? Is that what your question was?
Yeah, the question was, how is a person taxed for sewer and water when when the information I received, there was no water currently on or a meter there? Unless I'm receiving the information wrong at the 200 North Clinton Street.
Okay, my first thought on that is two things, I guess. One is, keep in mind, these are quite old. These would have been delinquencies from almost a year, not quite a year ago or older, so I don't know if there would have been water or service at that time or not. The other thing I guess I'm kind of wondering is, at one time, there were a lot of meters around or addresses around the city that we had shut off the water and pulled the meters, but if you recall, when COVID came, we were ordered by the state to put those, turn those all back on. I don't know if any of those are coming up and causing some of these delinquencies or not. I could not answer that without looking into it more. I actually just kind of had that thought when we were talking about this. I don't know what, because of that order or that law from the state, I don't know what we ever did once the COVID kind of, the dust settled. I assume that a lot of that would have kind of, they would have gotten shut off if they hadn't paid. So probably went through the traditional steps, but if there was no one there when it got turned on, us shutting it off isn't gonna trigger them to come pay. So that could be why some of this is on.
I can weigh in on that that building as well. And I wish Director Miller was here, but he's unable to attend tonight. The building that you're referenced, they do not have an actual meter within their facility, but the meter that services that building is installed in the building that they are connected to. So that is where that balance is coming from. So they are set up with a meter, but it's just not within the facility. It's within the connected facility.
So they do have a meter, so the meter is running?
Yes.
Do they get a bill for that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thanks so much.
Councilman French?
So Tom, you got two occupants. My guess is you're gonna have a challenge finding
Yes.
those people.
Well, more than likely, but we do have a few tools we can use. We did sign up for well, probably first thing we'll have to do is get with the county and or assessor and find out exactly what the legal ownership is. And then we have signed up, because of other reasons too, we've signed up for a program that will help us find addresses of people who left and stuff. So, yeah, we'll have a little bit of work to try to find who's legally the owner responsible. But somebody, theoretically, somebody will pay the tax. And if not, it'll go to the county, and then they'll worry about it.
Any other questions, comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Reed? Yes. Jackson?
Yes.
French?
Yes?
Williams?
Yes.
And Mayor Steiner?
Yes. Motion to approve Resolution 2022-23 to set the 2022 tax levy.
So move.
Support.
There you go. I'm getting out of
Director Mead?
here. I'm let go.
I think this one we talked about in the study session as well. Fairly straightforward. Every year we just have to get council approval for the millage rates that we're going to levy, and realistically those are the max is set by the equalization director based on what our taxable value is and Headley amendment and all that. So what you see before you are the maximum amounts that we could charge for each of our four assessed taxes. The total of the four is 19.6027 mils. It's down a little bit from 21 and down a little more even from 2020. So it's kind of been dropping a little bit the last few years. Questions on that?
City Clerk Domingo?
It's okay.
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler, French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed. Yes. And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Motion to approve the first right of refusal of foreclosed properties in the city of Albion.
So move.
Support.
And do we have Director Arnold, or are you speaking on this?
I can provide an overview. So Calhoun County, the Calhoun County Treasurer's Office has provided us with the 2022 list of foreclosed parcels for purchase or refusal. In accordance with Public Act 123 as amended, the first right of refusal process for the purchase of foreclosed properties by state, it's offered to state and local municipalities before the county auction. So included in the list for 2022 is one parcel. Director Arnold has provided a formal recommendation, and at this time, City Administration recommends the city not move forward with purchasing the one foreclosed property. Since we opt out of it, it will then go back to the county treasurer's office and will be available through the county auction process. If no one purchases through the auction process, then it defaults back to the Calhoun County Land Bank. This property was under the Land Bank's authority. It was purchased by a resident, and just based off their willingly letting go of the property through the foreclosure process due to property tax value. So we're recommending refusing the purchase of this property.
Questions? Comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember French,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Future agenda items. Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
Yes, I'd just like for us to bring back if we were going to decide to do a leaf cleanup, so we're going to wait till the last minute.
Any other agenda items? Councilman Williams?
Yes, it's the question first. Do we do a closeout for the comprehensive plans?
Not yet. So the reviewing period is still open, that 63-day public review period. So that's still going. And then once that period has expired, it will go before the Planning Commission to hold a formal public hearing, I believe July 19th, and then coming before council at the first August meeting for formal approval.
Okay, by closeout, I was talking about the previous comprehensive plan. I'm sorry, I didn't communicate that well.
Yep. Right now, that's kind of the plan that's still in place. So there's not really a closeout process of that. It's the past approving of this updated plan will technically be that closeout process. And then moving forward, you will be provided with, the Planning Commission will review that plan, the goals, the progress and achievement goals identified, and will provide council with updates on that.
Okay, so future agenda items. Before implementing the new comprehensive plan, can we, grade the last comprehensive plan to see how we came out so that we're not carrying things over that weren't necessarily accomplished or didn't, so that we can see if we hit the targets that we set out?
And I think with the development process or the plan to develop this new plan, the subcommittee that was formed, it contained members from the Planning Commission as well as City Council. They reviewed those goals, and through that they eliminated goals that they felt no longer were a priority of the community, or they updated or just kept them in for the new plan. I think Councilmember Lanou had this request as well. She did make comment at the last Planning Commission meeting, and chair of that board, they shared the process, and right now technically the ball kind of is in their court because through the Public Act, this is a plan that is developed by the Planning Commission with recommendation for formal approval to City Council. So if you would like an update, I can ask Chair Strander if you'd be willing to come and share.
Please.
Report on that, but I think that was discussed at the last meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other items?
The next council meeting is after Juneteenth, right?
And you?
The next council meeting is after the Juneteenth celebration.
Yes.
It would be lovely to get a report or presentation on that. If you,
Report on what?
on Juneteenth.
Okay, I can do that. There should, and be looking in the next newspaper. It's going to be a large article.
Okay, got that. Mayor Pro Tem Jackson?
Yeah, there was one, I know you're going to do that study over there on the river, the dam study.
Yes.
And I know they're very concerned about those pads. So will the information that you're going to give us, will that have everything in it? So I won't have to put it on the next.
Yes, so
agenda?
there's an update in the manager report kind of going over the timeline on that feasibility study.
Okay.
They're actually in the final, they're looking to complete that study this month, and then they will be holding a formal community open house in Victory Park, so they will share the results of that study, answer any questions, provide different solutions to that, so I have that in.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other agenda items? All right, public comments. Anybody in the gallery would like to stand and address council? You have 3 minutes to do so.
I feel guilty because I know you guys don't look at the time here.
No, you're good.
Come on, it's still early.
It's still early.
Back in my day.
That's right, back in your day.
Absolutely. Well, Madam Mayor, council members, City Manager Snyder, Clerk Domingo, residents of City of Albion, and folks watching this evening, good evening. Gary Tompkins, your Calhoun County Commissioner. It's good to see you folks again. It seems like it's been a while. Certainly had some tough road here over the last couple of months with passing my father, so finally kind of back up, ready and reinvigorated again. So certainly it's okay. We're all good now. So just a couple of things. I'll be real quick. At our last county commission meeting, we approved the authorization to issue capital improvement bonds not to exceed $13 million for our Calhoun County Juvenile Home. Many of you may or may not be aware that building is probably early 1950s and it's in significant need of some level of restoration improvements. So with that being said, this is the first of a three-step process to get the final authorization through the additional bed revenues we may get, because we know many counties around us do not have juvenile home in itself, so therefore this may be an opportunity for us through revenue there, but also through the energy savings it's going to generate. We're going to look at this. This will essentially pay for itself in terms of those, but it's much needed. Certainly the employees that are working over in that space right now, it's a very difficult situation. So certainly we want to do what we can to help them out. But again, this is something that County Administrative Assistant Brad Wilcox has been working on for 20 plus years, and we're finally to that conclusion point, or finally getting to that situation. So it's certainly good for him. That's been a big accomplishment for him to get to that point. Broadband Task Force. I know internet continues to be an issue that we all have, correct, in terms of high-speed internet. At our May 5th meeting, our task force, we actually had a discussion regarding some of our service providers, our current service providers, Comcast, Springcom, and NEC were three of them that we conducted interviews with not so much good results, and I'll explain. First of all, Comcast really has no interest in to really spread out into any less than very large urban areas. They have no desire to do that in terms of an investment. NEC says they're very interested, but their cost is $65 a month to start, plus equipment, and it kind of goes against the goals of the task force, which was to find an affordability for our folks, so everybody would have access to this. So that kind of ran into it. And then finally, Springcom, which is a very small service provider up in Duck Lake area, just getting started. They're obviously aggressive, but they're very small, and they really don't meet that criteria. With that being said, we're still going to continue to do some more service provider interviews. However, I will tell you, I think it's come to the point where most likely the conclusion is going to be that Calhoun County will have to take the overall lead in this.
and make it somewhat like a public utility so that we have total control over this, so we can make sure that we know that people are going to get what they need, the access to it throughout the entirety of the Calhoun County and not in just selected areas. I had an interesting question because when we talk about rural versus urban, even a city like Albion is considered a very rural community, so I just want to make sure when their definition of rural is what it truly is, we want to make sure that everybody's going to be taken care of in this. So the city of Albion and all of our rural areas are going to have the internet access to high-speed internet, because if not, it's not a plan that I support. We've got to make sure that our folks have access to it. We've got to make sure that we have access to high-speed internet across the county, so collectively. All right, how can I go quickly? My newsletter, I talk about roads. I'm not going to get into it because you guys already know my feeling about it. Kudos to Calhoun County Sheriff Steve Hinckley for his Safe Schools Initiative grant that he applied for and was successful in getting with the assistance of our 3rd District Congressman Peter Meyer. It's $1.7 million to provide additional cameras, camera upgrades, and technology correction capabilities linking to emergency dispatch. As we all know, with the recent events that have happened, certainly with making sure safe schools are important and a priority, and certainly kudos to our sheriff for taking that mantra and really going after it and being able to allow all Calhoun County schools to have an ability to upgrade their technology and their safety, to release the cameras as well. And obviously in conjunction with your cleanup day on June 25th that you folks will be having in the city of Albion, Calhoun County also electronics and scrap tire bill will be happening Thursday, June 30th as well at Ketchum Field, So take advantage of that. It's always a good turnout, and hopefully I might be there to do a little volunteering too as well. 2 quick reminders. Just a reminder, there are 3 county millages that will be on the August ballot. One is the Veterans Millage, which is a renewal of 0.1 mils. Second is the Calhoun County Medical Care Facility, which is 0.248 mils, 0.2482 mils, which is a renewal. And then the final one is the brand new one, which is the 911 millage for 0.98 mils. It's also on the August ballot. So just want to get you guys up to date and informed of that. And also a final reminder, the Calhoun County Health Department is announcing that they will be moving from their Michigan Avenue office to the Cram building down at Marketplace. That'll be effective July 5th. They'll be opening up the building July 5th. Until that time, they will be closed from June 23rd to July 4th as they move everything in and out. So certainly just want to let everybody be aware of that. And certainly if you need any Calhoun County other services, you'll have to go to the other locations, but we're hoping to have that up and running relatively quickly. So I think I did pretty good tonight, didn't I? That's pretty good. Try to be quick tonight for you guys.
I guess Councilman French has a
Yes.
So, having worked in Coldwater now for a couple of years, you might take a look at what the Coldwater Public Utility Bureau is doing with broadband.
Yes.
Because they are doing, I think, what you're...
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Branch County was initially significantly ahead of us in the process, so we've kind of caught up, but I think your point, I think we're all beginning to reach that conclusion, is if with the private service providers, they really don't have a lot of interest because they don't see that where there's a revenue stream for them. It's not worth the investment. So really, it's where we're going to have to take that mantra very much to like Branch County so that our folks can get that high-speed internet access at a very low affordable cost. Because again, $65 for some people, it's a major expense on a monthly basis, plus equipment. Makes it very difficult for folks to afford. So we need to make sure that we're digging in and find other alternative sources. Absolutely. So anybody else have any questions for me?
Oh, finally.
Oh, yes.
Get me back on the newsletter. I stopped getting...
Oh, well, absolutely. We'll get you back. No, that's true. I'll get you back on the newsletter. Absolutely. Lots of great stuff in there. Absolutely. All right. With that being said, thank you, folks. Have a great evening. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else like to address council? All right, city manager's report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So a copy of my report was included in the packet. There are just a few things that I would like to highlight. As Mayor Pro Tem Jackson just asked about the Albion Dam's feasibility study that has been taking place for the past few months. The study for the project is just about complete. A citywide open house to answer questions, gather information, and show possible options and other project examples will be held on Tuesday, July 26th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the large pavilion in Ridgeway Park. That date was just set last week, so we're still working with the group that's conducting the study to get formal flyers, and once that is, I'm provided with that, we will share that with you all and get that posted so that the community is aware of that. And I just want to share, throughout this entire process, I know my office in the city, we've really been stressing the importance of our forks within our river. Just what if the possible removal of these dams, what will that do to the forks that run that river? I think that's a staple of this community. It's kind of a part of our identity. So we really stress that we want to eliminate any disruption of that. as much as possible. So the group doing the study was very receptive to that, so I'm happy to see the results of that and information being shared to our community. As Commissioner Tompkins stated, the county broadband initiative, I actually met with CTC Technology and Energy, they're working with Calhoun County to conduct this study on Thursday, May 19th to discuss the city's needs. So they are making sure that every city, township, village is included in this to hear what our needs are. So I'm happy to hear that that's continuing to move forward because bringing broadband to our community would be a great thing. Macintosh Park project, that continues to move along actually really great. The progress meeting minutes are included in that packet, but I just want to share the playground equipment is just about completely installed. With the next step, they will be installing the pour and place the rubber mat. With that, we have to make sure people stay off of that because it's similar to cement. It has to have so long to firmly set in place. So it's very exciting to see that project continue to move forward. They're anticipating the installation of the splash pad end of June, early mid-July. So I know we were targeting having that completed by the July 4th holiday, just due to delay with receiving materials, shipping. It looks like that will be completed by the end of August. Still a great thing to bring to our community and looking forward to having that project being completed. If you have not gone out in the area, I would encourage you to do so to check out the progress on that. We have the third town hall meeting to discuss the proposed road millage. It was held last Wednesday, May 25th at St. Paul Lutheran Church. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate that was our least attended town hall so far. I think we had 3 attendees. So this is a very important initiative. The flyer was shared for quite some time, and if you can see from the tax levy that we just established for 2022, although we've approved 3 mills for our streets, we're not collecting the full 3 mills, so that just means a decline in what we are bringing in to address our streets. So it's very important that we engage with our residents, educate them on what this means, because it is going to require a majority of support to get this addressed. And since my manager's report was sent out, we have scheduled the final town hall meeting. This will be our 4th town hall that the city has held. It will be held on Wednesday, June 15th at 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Opportunity School Library. This is our final meeting prior to the absentee ballots being issued. They will be sent out from our clerk's office on June 20th. So we want to make sure we just get one final push to our residents to inform them on what this means. And then I would encourage all of you to continue to engage with your constituents, educate them on what the proposed millage would do for us. Right now, we're looking at a potential budget of I think it's like $556,000 if this millage is formally approved by voters to go towards the maintenance of our roads. I think we all can agree that the plan that we have, it's not working. Yes, we're doing a great job at taking advantage of any grant opportunities, but the funding is just not there. So I would just really encourage you all to step up, to hold precinct meetings, to engage with your constituents, and if they have any questions, please direct them to either my office or the Public Services office, and we will be able to answer any questions and share any additional information. As Commissioner Tompkins stated, there is also a flyer that's been included in the packet. This has also been shared on the city's Facebook page as well as the city's website. So the citywide, the residential cleanup event will be held on Saturday, June 25th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Ketchum and Harris Field. On the flyer, you will see the list of acceptable items, and there has been one change to that due to the county holding the scrap tire and electronics event just that following week. We will not be accepting the electronic event at our event. So we will update this information, get it reposted to our community, to our residents, just to inform them. I also wanted to share that as a reminder, through our current Ranger contract, all of our residents have the opportunity to have one bulk item picked up once a month. They just have to call to schedule it. I believe it's the last Friday of the month. So please remind your constituents that that option is available so that they can be disposing of bulk waste the entire year. And then just a few other things. Just as a reminder, the application deadline to fill Precinct 5 is Monday, June 13th by 5 p.m. We will hold the interviews at that following June 20th meeting with formal appointment at the first meeting in July. Or if council would like to change that to where we've done in the past, we would have interviews and then make the appointment on that same day. I think it's crucial that we move kind of quickly with this, just because we do have, I know Clerk Domingo sent out to you all, and it's provided that petitions will be available for people to start running if they would like to run to fill that seat permanently in November. So just giving them time to do that and get that done. But just as a reminder, the application process is still open until Monday by 5 p.m. And I just want to highlight, we had some great events this past weekend. The Calhoun County new County Park Trailhead, the unveiling of that name was held, and then we had the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Albion River Trail Expansion Project right outside of McCullough Park. A great turnout for both events, beautiful weather, so it was just great to see so many residents come out to be excited about those new additions. If you have not checked out the new County Park Trailhead, I would encourage you to do so. It is beautiful. And as well as the Albion River Trail, that is also a nice expansion. And just a reminder, we do have the grant into the DNR to expand that trailway along North Albion Street. A part of the North Albion Street Bridge is to include extension of the sidewalk to allow for bikers to pass through to connect to Holland Park, and then connecting to McIntosh Park with all of the new amenities that will be going there. And just a reminder to everybody, we will be closed this Friday, June 10th at 12 p.m. to have an employee appreciation event and kind of recognize the Juneteenth holiday at Holland Park. So we will be closed at noon, and then we will resume normal operations at Holland Park. Happy to answer any questions.
So I know that when Mr. Arnold was here, he was asking about the Equity Task Force.
Yes.
So you had a meeting.
Yes, so the first meeting was held on Thursday, May 26th. There were 4 members currently on that board, so we finally have a quorum to begin meeting. Very happy to see that moved forward. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, June 23rd. I'm working with the group to come up with a time for that meeting. We still have 3 vacant seats on that board, so I would really, it's kind of a struggle working at like the minimum amount of people to have a quorum, so I would encourage anybody to step up to apply to serve on that board.
So he was present at that meeting?
Yes, he was.
So make sure you get invited.
Yes. Yes, he was there.
Councilman French, did you have a question? Nope. Okay. Council member comments? Mayor Pro Tem Jackson?
Yeah, just no more than just wanted to thank Aaron. He's not here, he's gone, but that was just some good information about what they're doing and trying to do with the millage, as you know, Commissioner already spoke about. And I just think we just need to step up and help them to make sure that our veterans do get all the physical and emotional support and needs that they have. So I just wanted to say thank you once again to that as well.
Councilman French?
Thank you. Just 3 things. The first, I want to thank Gwen for signing up to be on a board. We really appreciate that. Love to connect with you again. Thanks also to the city road crew for getting out there and filling potholes. I got some calls from some constituents, former constituents, now new current constituents, talking about some particular intersections that needed attention, and they were taken care of literally the next day. So that was awesome. Thank you very much, Haley, and for the rest of your team. And finally, Men Who Give is a philanthropic organization that I am a part of with about 20, 25 other men who meet quarterly to hear proposals from local nonprofits to support their efforts. We will meet again on June 16th at 6 p.m. All you need to do to be a part of it is to come to that meeting or tell me that you're planning on coming to the meeting and then commit to giving $100 to whichever project gets the most votes at our meeting. This is modeled after Philanthropic Women, which is an organization that's been in Albion for many, many years, going on 30 maybe, who support, and they have 100 women that come and support local nonprofits, meet quarterly. And we have 20. We'd love to grow that organization, so if you are a man who lives or is interested in supporting local nonprofits in the Albion area, please get with me. I can be reached on Facebook, and I can be reached at my email, which is very simple. It's andrew.french.albion@gmail.com. So I'd love to hear from you. There'll be stuff in the Albion e-News and on Facebook, etc., coming up. That's June 16th at 6 p.m.
Yep.
And we jotted it down. Just as Commissioner Tompkins shared, the Calhoun County Consolidated Dispatch, they will actually be attending our next regular scheduled meeting to speak on that proposed millage as well. So you will learn more information from the organization who is behind it. So you can expect that at the next meeting.
And then we have Juneteenth coming up, which is a big celebration that we want to make sure people are aware of.
We're going to start here. Okay, on Juneteenth, we're going to start here at City Hall at 11 o'clock with the mayor giving a proclamation, and then we will go down to Holland Park where we will honor Mrs. Carrie Anderson, who was the first person who brought Juneteenth to Albion. And after then, we have some remarks that's going to be made. Mr. Walls is going to give the history of Juneteenth. Bob Dunklin is going to do a greeting for Mrs. Anderson, and then we're going to have a fun day. We'll have reading tents for kids, we'll have 3-on-3 basketball, we'll have games and things all over the park. There's going to be a health unit that's going to be there, and they will be passing out information on health, and they're not doing shots, but they will be passing out different information that you would need for COVID and immunization. Yeah. And then at 5 o'clock we will have the yearly Gospel Fest, and that will be hosted by Ronnie Sims and Community Choir, along with a teen unit that will be doing voice to go with the singing.
So I just want to take this time to give some public shout outs. First to our officers Dan Riley and Colin Morgan, who were awarded the POAM Officer of the Year Awards. This was the second year for Officer Riley, and we are very fortunate to have them on our team. To piggyback on City Manager Snyder's comments about our ribbon cutting for the trailways, I just wanted to give a shout out to our superintendent, Kevin O'Brien, for getting his team out to make sure that the cemetery and the parks were taken care of, so that our visitors had a beautiful scenery to walk the trails between 28 Mile Road and McCullough Park. So they did a great job with getting the grounds ready for that. Any other public comments? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes, meeting adjourned, 9:54 p.m.